You refuse tea, Scott. I'm skeptical of that choice.
I refuse tea. I'm not a huge tea guy. I discovered this before and very much during my living in Japan.
Really? Was there a lot of people forcing tea on you?
When I went there in high school, I tried to say no to tea and it came off as yes, so I kept getting more glasses of tea from the grandma of the house.
So wait, when you said no, it came off as yes? That sounds like you were utterly too polite.
I was trying to be like iie, which is like the official no in Japanese, but no one ever uses it in Japan. But I was a high school kid, so I didn't know that. So I was like iie, and she thought I was saying e, which is good. And so she just assumed I wanted more tea, and so she brought me more tea over and over again. I didn't know how to decline it, so I ended up kind of like hiding out in my bedroom and
trying to not drink tea.
Yeah, I'm not a hot liquids guy so much.
Okay. I've been getting into tea more recently, but I don't do coffee. Although today I did have one chocolate covered coffee bean.
Just the bean?
Just one chocolate covered coffee bean.
Would you find it on the street or something?
No, Trader Joe's sells them in a big thing. You can buy chocolate coffee beans, and I prefer it to coffee because if you drink coffee, it's hard to know how much caffeine you're getting.
Uh-huh.
But if you eat coffee beans, it's literally like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like you can titrate exactly how much caffeine you're getting. And I can't do caffeine. I'm already too energetic, as people on the podcast know already. And so I can't do caffeine. But if I do a little caffeine, it can help me stay focused.
Do you just chew up the bean like it's
chocolate
like
covered?
A candy?
Yeah, it's like a candy. You've never had a chocolate covered coffee bean?
I don't like coffee.
Okay.
Hot liquid.
It's no hot liquid. Isn't it? We've removed the hot liquid from the equation. That's why I'm bringing it up.
I know.
It's a chocolate covered coffee bean.
Yeah, no.
Sometimes they're called chocolate covered espresso beans. Maybe they are espresso beans. I don't know what the difference is. All right, should we do a solutions from the multiverse? Should we do a solution?
Let's get into it.
Okay, the portal opens. Go through the portal. Let's describe this world. Well, I'll just say the solution, and then we can kind of maybe describe what the world would be like. Well, wait, we have to do an intro, don't we? I'm Adam Braus.
I'm Scott Moppin.
This is Solutions from the Multiverse, where we share a new idea every week, a new solution, and we talk about what the world would be like if we had this solution.
That's right. Welcome, everybody.
Okay, so the solution today, I'll just call it Royal Prestige.
Royal Prestige.
Royal Prestige. Okay. And I learned about this because I read a biography of the king of Thailand. Not the current king, but the recently passed away king, who was king for like 70 years or 80 years straight.
Whoa.
Yeah, so the Thai monarchy is the longest continuously reigning monarchy. It's like he was like Rama 9, like the 9th Rama king, and in a row, which is more than any other crown in the world has had continuously. And then he was the longest reigning monarch living until he died. Now he died, so he's not around anymore. And the prince took over and became king like 2 years ago. Anyways, I lived in Thailand, and I read this biography of him. It's called The King Never Smiles, is what it's called. And it's kind of like, it's been banned in Thailand because you're not allowed to say anything bad about the king ever, even if it's true, because it's just illegal to say anything bad about the king in Thailand. So this biography is actually banned in Thailand.
So who wrote the book?
Some like American or British guy who lived in Thailand, loved Thailand, and learned all about it, but then moved away and then was willing to just never go back because he thought maybe, I don't know, for life circumstances, he wasn't going to
Now,
go
would
back.
there be like wanted posters with this guy's picture on it and be like,
yeah, but he has a big curly Q mustache.
You see this guy, report him to the Thai authorities immediately.
I think so. Yeah, I think he would literally go to jail. I mean, they've put people in jail for graffitiing the king's posters. They've put people in jail for years. Like they have, it's called lèse majesté, which is the French, I guess, for do not, you're not allowed to insult the king.
This sounds like a really cool guy, but he's super fun at parties.
Yeah. Never smiles and puts people in jail for critiquing him. But that's the thing. He actually was a great, there's criticisms of him, and that's what this biography, but the criticisms are kind of thin, especially when you compare it to like, I don't know, American presidents, who like carpet bomb Cambodia illegally or stuff. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I mean, this guy was a good.
Criticisms of him could get you in like serious legal trouble.
Sure.
Criticisms might be kind of thin.
I mean, the criticisms weren't even that strong politically. They were more just like dirty laundry, like scandals that happened. But his politics were great. Or I mean, you know, you can look at his track record. He modernized the agricultural sector of Thailand. He modernized the university system. I mean, he basically took Thailand from a completely underdeveloped country to a completely developed country peacefully, without colonization, without communism. Okay. So, I mean, who can say they did that? Like, nobody. It's like an absolutely amazing thing. And he's an incredibly moral man. I mean, he was basically like if like Martin Luther King Jr. and FDR were the same person. That's kind of who this guy was. So he's a really amazing guy. Even when you take into account that he had these scandals and maybe it's not clear if he killed his brother or accidentally shot his brother, but they were kids. They were like 16 years old.
Super cool guy, jails anyone who makes fun of him, and may or may not have murdered his own brother.
That's the thing that nobody knows, though. It's sort of like his brother died.
But this is the thin.
His brother died. They used to play with guns. I guess that's what royalty in like. 20s.
Yeah, sure. No further guns. Explanation needed.
Yeah, but anyways, of course. Scandals aside. Anyway, so here's the thing. When he was 16 years old, he was taken out of his boarding school in Switzerland, flown to Thailand, and crowned the king of Thailand. Mm-hmm. And then he was the king continuously until he was like 80 whatever years old.
Okay.
And he died of natural causes. Okay. His older brother had already passed away, mysteriously shot. Probably in an accident, but still, they bury the history because they don't want it to be associated with the king.
And if the older, I'm just clarifying, if the older brother had not died, he would have been the king, and the person who was the king wouldn't have been king.
Yes.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah, but I mean, it was probably just they were like teenagers, though. It was probably just an accident. Anyways, we're in America, so we can say the whole truth. But here's the thing. Here's what we're going to talk about: royal prestige. So I learned this from reading this biography. Everyone focuses on the scandals, but actually what he did intentionally throughout his whole life is way more interesting, which is he built up the prestige of the Thai crown. And it's pretty interesting what he did. I mean, he deliberately went out and built the prestige from almost nothing. Like the Thai crown was just this sort of like, whatever, it was there, people knew Thailand, the Thai people were like, yeah, we have a king, but it was not like a big deal. It was just like, yeah, we have a king. It was kind of like how maybe Catholics in America know we have a pope, and they maybe think he's a great guy, but they don't like, weep with joy at his birthday or something, right?
Right.
But by the end of his life, everyone in Thailand, almost everyone, was totally enamored with the king to the point of, I mean, he was truly, truly, truly a walking, living, I don't know what to call it, like saint, but political, but a saint at the same time, but like a governing official. Like he literally was the spirit of the nation of Thailand, and all the pride that people had in Thailand was tied up in his situation, his personhood.
Okay.
Amazing.
So how did he do it?
This is the thing. Okay. It's actually not that hard in a way. Well, it takes a ton of deliberation, like deliberateness, but it's not actually hard. What he did was, it's kind of what you see with the British crown does too, is they avoid scandal, right? They avoid bad press. And then they do like a litany of ceremonial actions constantly. Like every day he would go around and do like 5 different like ceremonies that were like somber and serious, like putting our president does it some in America. The president does some of these things, like lay a wreath at the tomb of the fallen soldier, or like, if the president visits Europe, generally the president will stop at a site like a World War II site and just like
commemorate them.
And just somberly go through a ritual to do, that. So those actions, what the king did was he took those actions and did like 2 to 20 of them a day for like 20 years straight. And after that, very slowly over time, the constant, it kind of constantly built up drop by drop, his like prestige meter.
Yeah.
And more people got more and more kind of impressed with him morally or something. I mean, this is something definitely in America where in the Constitution it says there shall be no royalty or titles of nobility. We don't get this. Like Americans, this is like completely like a foreign language. That's why I was so fascinated by it. But what if this is really the solution for today? What if people who had enormous amounts of money or power, like, billionaires, I think they could actually become royalty in the moral sense if they had the discipline to do what the Thai king did.
Royalty in the sense of like the beloved by all as a benevolent force.
Yes.
And looked at as like, this person, like the Mr. Rogers effect or sort of thing,
Yes, but I think, you have to think of the King of Thailand as 100,000 times more than Mr. Rogers, but the same.
Sure, yeah,
same idea.
Also bringing with him, the force and resources of a royalty.
Yeah. I mean, the crown owns about 1/3 of the land of Thailand, but if you think about it, that's now that's probably worth many billions of dollars. But I mean, back then, it probably would have been able to command far less than what a billionaire could command today. So a billionaire today could do this. Probably even a small millionaire or a large millionaire could, or even a small millionaire, if they really put their mind to it, could probably achieve this same thing. In a way, even social media influencers. There could be a social media influencer who gained royal prestige. They could decide to make their Instagram brand like royal prestige brand, and in a way they could become the king of America or the queen of America. I think
you're right, because I mean, like the King of Thailand, what it sounds like you're describing is he's doing the opposite thing that normal kings and queens do, where normal royalty, it's like, cool, I'm royalty, I isolate myself away from everybody, I only have to talk to like these people,
right,
and only important people, and never get trifled with the matters of the commoners, really. I'm the king or the queen. I can't deal with that. I don't have to. But this is more like along the lines of like an American politician who has to get votes from the people, where they're like out campaigning and grassroots organizing and meeting people and going to events one by one by one and be like, I'll turn the tide just by sheer force of being present, showing like establishing my image and my reputation as one of this. And I think you're right. Like a billionaire, the tendency is to do what the king and queen normally does, which is isolate yourself and be like, I only have to talk to these people. I can't talk to other people. My world is now this strange, isolated bubble. And you could do it the other way around, where you're seen as continually out.
And you know who is doing
wealth.
This? A little bit. Bill Gates.
I was going to say Bill Gates is the one name where it's like
this a little bit.
He's trying to solve world hunger, or he's trying to do that. He's giving away this much of his fortune.
Yeah, but he does other things that are like what is royal prestige. Again, any example we're going to find of royal prestige is like, I mean, it's like finding like a pile of sand and then being like, if we got enough of this together, there'd be like a desert. You know what I mean? We're not going to find like the amount that the King of Thailand was able to amass over decades. But if someone put their mind towards it, I think it would be quite achievable, like very achievable.
Yeah.
Even for someone with not very much money, like even just sort of an influencer level, influencer level. So, for example, Bill Gates does some of the other things like the King of Thailand does, which is that he wears the same clothes everywhere. Like he always wears like a pastel sweater. The King of Thailand did the same thing. He always wore like king's clothes, like not super fancy. Sometimes he wore like this golden sort of raiment that was like, king clothes. But usually he just wore like
this one time he had this new tailor who made him new clothes, and he walked around at a parade, and then this child was like, he is naked, and everyone was like, what? Because they had all been pretending that they could. Wait, that's a different story. Sorry.
That's about the emperor. That was the emperor.
Oh yes, different. Different political structures.
I think an emperor is just a king of kings, right? Many kings all serve an emperor.
Well, an emperor would be just the head of an empire, and I guess kingdom to empire, you're gonna.
Isn't that just multiple kingdoms?
It's like a kingdom with satellites.
Yeah,
yeah, right.
Either way, he's naked. He's walking around. He's got no clothes on, just flapping in the wind.
And we're bold enough to say it.
Well, not if there's les majestés laws. Then just let him do whatever he wants. King's looking great, guys.
They're like, oh yes,
as far as I can tell,
a lovely golden fabric.
It's amazing, indescribable. Really,
you can't see that. Oh, you must be weirdly deficient.
So Bill Gates does it a little bit with his clothes, and clothes has a big part of it. Kind of outfit and costume is a big part of it. Ritual is a big part of it. And it kind of is absurd if you're someone who kind of thinks, forms and sort of rituals are sort of silly or old fashioned. But if someone's dressed very nice and there's a sort of this ritualistic kind of entourage around them, and maybe a certain sort of song is played or something, and then they march towards something, and then they sort of give a gift ceremonially or something, and then they like make certain motions and sort of say certain words ritualistically, and then they kind of receive, sort of walk out again, to proceed out again, and then it's over. That may seem kind of like, well, why did we do all that? That was just a bunch of hullabaloo. But it turns out that it actually is sort of casting a spell that actually really, really influences human beings enormously. And there's really no reason why we couldn't do this more. And I actually kind of wish people would do it, because I think it's a good force. I think it's a good force in the world. And so I'd like to see some royal prestige Instagram accounts start, and some I'd like to see, instead of having it seems like a lot of our, at least celebrity billionaires like Kanye West and Elon Musk in the news right now are really just lighting their prestige on fire and going down in flames with it.
Yeah.
If someone was like a consultant or someone could help them to instead attain this level of enormous prestige, instead of collapsing and going down in flames, they'd actually rise up to this fantastic.
It would dovetail, good for us, good for them.
Yeah, because the small people down who just live normal lives could admire them and could hold them up as heroes, even if they accidentally killed their brothers, or even if they had scandals and did bad things, they still would become a moral hero that would help everyone in the country to be maybe a little more sort of, I don't know, inspired.
See, I feel like one of the hiccups that might come in transferring it from royalty to the billionaire class is royalty. It's probably, it's hard to, royalty. It's probably, you're born into it, and all of a sudden they're like, well, here's the kingdom. And there's a chance that maybe you're just a different kind of person. You're made up different. You're like, you know what? I'm going to be good. I want to use this power for good. But I feel like the mindset of to get to $1 billion plus, you have to be intentionally exploiting people on some level, and in a very greedy, I want to grab everything I can and then some mindset. And that mindset to build $1 billion, I don't know if that can turn around and go, and you know what? I want to give it back. It seems
but that's what they do. Didn't Jeff Bezos just say, I'm going to give all my money away? Bill Gates, all my money away. They all say that. But then, they don't even have to give their money away. The king keeps all of his money, but then does this prestige thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think these I'm going to give all my money away, when I see that they are still just as wealthy and have the exact same lifestyle in perpetuity for the rest of their life.
True.
It doesn't really mean anything. And also it feels like a PR move to be don't hate me so much just because I exploited a bunch of people and have $1 billion.
Yeah, right. I agree with you that there's a lot of exploitation built into sort of, capitalism and stuff. But it's not that much. I don't know, how much do people really exploit? I don't know. I think it's a little bit on the nose, are billionaires really? But I think they could do this. There's a bunch of billionaires too who are just nobody even knows who they are. And they might want to be more popular, but they don't want to be an animal. They don't want to be like Elon Musk or something. This is an option for a more well-behaved billionaire who wanted to become really famous, but maybe even who wanted to become president. This might be a really good slow walk into being president. If some billionaire or multimillionaire today started doing a regime where every day they would do 20, 10, 15 rituals, and they'd be taken around and do all these rituals and ceremonies all around the country and the world, because America is all around the world, then who knows, in 10 years, he might be so, or he or she, a woman could do this too. They might be so popular that it would be like falling off a tree and hitting all the branches to become president. Like, it might be really easy.
I mean, if there was a person who was into that and also a billionaire, that would be awesome. I don't, the proposition of
they don't have to be a billionaire. I'm just saying anybody could do this with a little bit of money. You're getting stuck on the billionaire thing.
Well,
I agree with you.
I'm like, you could spend the next 10 years going to like seminars every day and like interacting with people, or living on a super yacht and getting everything you want.
But a lot of these
they're going to be like,
but not all these super ambitious people are hedonists, you know. Like, they really aren't. Many of the most ambitious people actually are seeking honor.
Mm-hmm.
Distinction is what they really want. They want to be part of history, and they want to be, you know, leave their dent in the universe, as Steve Jobs said. You know, they want to be like first of many, right? First among equals, you know? And so, yeah, I mean, many people are just motivated maybe for money or for kind of hedonistic, whatever, live on yachts and eat good food or something. But you don't need that much money to live on yachts and eat good food. I mean, you have $10 million, you could do that the rest of your life. These people have billions of dollars, which means their level of ambition is way bigger than just money. And what I'm saying is, with royal prestige, I think they could actually more directly achieve their goals.
Okay.
And maybe even people who aren't even that rich could do it. Like these Instagram influencers who like fly all around the world making like video content, which is a real thing, I found out.
Really?
Yeah, there's tons of these like influencers that just make money by going around, and they have like 1 million YouTube followers, and that's all you need, I guess, to make like hundreds of thousands of dollars a year.
Sounds like a good gig.
They just like fly around and live this kind of lifestyle, and then they just make videos and they make money from that.
Okay.
But one of these influencers could try this, and I wonder if they wouldn't become like royalty.
So you're saying, to the measure of your power, you can use that in this royal prestige way.
You could gain royal prestige
to kind of like plant your power and then water it and then grow it into like a larger, bigger, more robust thing down the line.
Kind of like this is sort of like, I think what we've seen recently
is word there.
Yeah. Well, your prestige, your standing in the world.
You're standing. There you go. Yeah.
So I think we've seen a lot of people like the Kardashians, right? They got famous because what? A sex tape and a reality show that shows all their dirty laundry.
Don't forget a super famous murder trial as well.
Excellent. I didn't even know that. Okay, a murder
Robert
trial.
Kardashian was one of OJ's lawyers.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
That's where the Kardashian name originally came into my my lexicon, I guess.
Wow.
And then the sex tape with Kim
Right,
Kardashian,
right.
and then the reality show and everything else.
So it's like what we see with that is basically they're called the royalty of America, right? The Kardashians. That's called like the American royalty, right? Like
Okay.
that's what people say because they're on the tabloids and people get to sort of peer into their lives and it's sort of this thing. But I think that represents a kind of tabloid version of what true royalty is. And that America could have real royalty, but no one knows how to do it because no one has tried. Because the art has sort of been lost in America. And I'm just telling people on this podcast right now, if you just read the book, The King Never Smiles, it will teach you how to gain royal prestige. The king did it. The king of Thailand did it. It only took him about 20 years. I mean, that's a long time, but you know, it took him from when he was about 25 years old to he was a 45
turning
years old.
a country around situation. That's nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally. It's totally doable. I mean, people spend way longer trying to build their business or trying to build, you know.
So who is in charge of Thailand now?
Well, Thailand's a very strange place, governmentally. But I mean, there is a king who's the son of this first guy.
Okay.
Bimpol, I think, is the first guy's name, the very famous guy.
Oldest in the family, or?
Yeah, he's the oldest son.
Okay.
Actually, there's a daughter that everyone wanted to be queen. Like, she's way better, but then she didn't, because she's a girl. They don't have the girls inherit. They have the men inherit. It's like a patriarchal lineage. So, but she was great. Everyone liked her better. The current king, the guy's son. Mm-hmm. There's pictures of him like with, I don't know, hot pink hat on, a cowboy hat, with
right on,
short leather shorts, like going around with girls everywhere. And,
okay.
I mean, he didn't do a lot of royal prestige stuff.
What a king.
You know, there's one thing too about the kings and this royal prestige thing is actually the king himself doesn't necessarily do all of this. It's actually like the kind of coterie, the sort of handlers around the king that help and support him to like do what he needs to do to get this prestige. So you couldn't, I mean, maybe in modern days you could try to do it alone, but it would probably take like a little bit of a production company to get it. Yeah. I would do this if I was like an influencer. Like if my job was like, oh, I'm an influencer, I have a few 100,000 followers and I have some income coming in from videos, I need to make content. Well, the way you could make content is record yourself doing these prestigious rituals.
Yeah.
And just start. It'll feel like you're like insane. But if you just start, every single day you post, it's just like these influencers do. They post content every day. Every day post another royal prestige content, and then don't ever do anything to get scandal. Don't ever do anything bad.
That's a big part. Yeah.
So don't do anything bad.
I mean, it's kind of like a house of cards, right? I mean, you can build it up. It takes time, but the wrong move at the wrong spot, and it can all come crashing down.
You spend one weekend at Epstein's Island.
Oh boy.
And Bill Gates loses his royal prestige.
I mean, it's for a social influencer, probably easier for that house of cards to fall than an actual billionaire who can just be like, I don't care. You know, Elon makes a bad move and buys Twitter and loses a bunch of money, and he's like, yeah, I'm still richer than anyone else will ever be.
I'm still second richest man in the world.
Yeah,
Oops. I'll get it back.
He's like, there's exactly one person allowed to laugh at me now, and it's not you. So don't start.
The richer guy. Right.
Royal prestige. Okay. I'm down. I like it.
Yeah. So I think what is it a solution to exactly? I think it's a solution to...
it's a solution to coming up with a reason that might convince billionaires to part with lots of their money while they're still alive.
Yep.
And use it for good things.
Or they don't even have to part with their money. I mean, like I said, the King of Thailand kept all of his money. He would give tiny little grants of money to people, like little things. He did not give away his money. Thailand still, a third of the land is owned by the crown, you know? So I mean, it's still, in some ways it's billionaires could do this and they wouldn't have to give away their money because people would be like, no, the money's exactly where we want it to be, in that excellent person's hands.
And let's be real. I mean, this is releasing just after Christmas, but we're recording it just before Christmas. So right now is the season where there's a very famous story of a very rich person having a little bit of royal prestige by interacting with some common people and learning Christmas. The errors of his ways. Yes, right, exactly.
And doing Christmas very well, the ritual of Christmas.
So we might end up with billionaires being visited by ghosts and shown.
Well, it's interesting you say about.
And then they become like tomorrow morning they wake up and they're like, "You boy, what day is this?" And they're like,
"It's Christmas, sir."
And they're like, "All right, well then I'm going to be a good person now." And then we get good billionaires. All of a sudden.
I mean, it's interesting you bringing that up, the Christmas Carol, because that's already what we have. Our best moral guideline from the wealthy in America is Ebenezer Scrooge. Mm-hmm. We want them to be like kind, but we don't want to structurally eliminate capitalism that causes them to exist. Did you notice that in Christmas Carol? That there's no actual criticism of the systemic issues of poverty.
Oh yeah.
They just want the rich person to be sort of polite about how rich they are. And sort of nice.
They're like let's not fix
the poverty.
The working conditions or the town's mismanagement.
Let's just once a year
give them a gift, give them a goose or something, whatever. Well, I mean the version of Christmas Carol I think of the most is the Disney one, and so in that one, that character is famously known for having a building full of money that he swims around. Right. Yeah.
They don't address that.
No, but
they don't say empty that building.
But honestly, that's what every billionaire probably sees as a child, and they dream of one day becoming a billionaire. And they're like, put it all in gold coins and stick them in that one building. But are they really? I mean, people act like billionaires are greedy. Yes,
and it's about money.
Yes,
but I don't think that's true. Not okay. So here's the thing. When you get, I don't know this personally, but I've studied history and I've studied political philosophy, and so I think about these things, to some depth.
Okay.
And rich people say this. I've heard rich people say this, is that when you get rich enough, it becomes a scoreboard, and it stops being like money because you couldn't possibly spend it all. So it becomes a scoreboard, And that's different than like you and I think about money. Like you and I are normal people. If we get more money, it means we can actually do more things, eat better, have a nicer house, have nicer things. You know, it's like greed would drive us to have more money. But when you have $2 billion to get 4, it can't be greed because it's not about money anymore. It's about some kind of scoreboard that you're keeping.
I hear what you're saying, but that sounds like a more sociopathic way to think about money, because then you look at someone and you're like, I'm going to make their score go down to 0. And you're not like connecting oh, I'm just ruining lives right now. That's how you get to a spot where you can exploit people in mass.
I agree.
Is when you stop looking at it as money and start looking at it as a scoreboard that you just want to run up as high as possible.
It's totally insane. But what if we could get, maybe the benefit is, what if we told them, hey, you're already driving up a scoreboard, and the scoreboard is this totally, sort of not artificial, but sort of abstract thing that's just called like money. And to us, money's not abstract because we're normal people. Money's really means something. But if you're that rich, money becomes this abstract scoreboard. Well, what if we could get people to think, hey, you know what scoreboard you should really drive up is your prestige. So that'd be so cool if there was like thousands of people who had a little bit of money and a little bit of free time, and we're actually all of them trying to be like these amazing, prestigious, royal prestige. What you know what we would get in America? An aristocracy. So we would have an aristocracy.
We just need to convince them that there are really 2 scoreboards. There's the money scoreboard, but the prestige scoreboard, and be like, bro, you have a plus 1 billion on the money scoreboard, but you have a minus 1 billion on the prestige scoreboard. Got to work on this score over here.
That's right. And then so maybe, Scott, we should start a prestige consulting company where we codify, where we go and help people with like a production. So we form a production company. We contact people and we say, we will manage your prestige. Here's what you need to do. Here's your schedule. Every week, we're going to start you off with 3 rituals a week. We're going to try to get you to 1 a day at least. But we're going to start off with 3 a week, and then we'll try to like tick up their prestige. We'll control the way they're seen in public, their costume, the way they look, certain brand of their prestige. Could be cool.
Well, and I will start a side business within that business that consults about the prestige. The 2009 Christopher Nolan movie,
which is a great movie,
Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale. Because I like that movie, and I'll consult you for hours on end about that. We could just talk about the prestige.
That's where the guy. Wait, I don't want to spoil it. No spoilers. Anyways, that's a good movie about magic.
It's a fun movie.
Yeah,
I like
really
it. Every time I watch that, I've watched it far too many times, and every time I feel like I'm like, wait, now I'm picking up a new thing. That's my favorite Nolan. I like that.
So this is what it really is a solution to. I think it's a solution to. I mean, this sounds maybe, I don't know, sort of moralizing, but it's a solution to immorality. I mean, I think people with this royal prestige inspire us, you know, to some extent. This is what we get from presidents. People admire presidents, right? They're like good private people. The president they like, right? And then people also do this for like civil rights leaders, like Martin Luther King Jr. has all this royal prestige. What did he do? Every day he went around and did these nonviolent sort of events where people spoke and people kind of moved ceremonially, and they did things, and he sacrificed for things. Like, he was gaining some modicum of royal prestige. You could get way more than him if you follow this book, what the King of Thailand did. But you could build up this prestige, and if one person did it, I think we'd get a king or a queen. If many people did it, I think we would build an aristocracy. We would literally have an aristocracy. And not just a bunch of rich guys sitting around, being, like aristocracy in the sense of an unmerited aristocracy. I mean, like a true aristocracy. There would be a group of people that everyone would be like, wow, they're amazing and awesome, and we love them. Like, there would be this admiration for them that was honest.
And some people might push back and be like, well, they're just doing it for the PR points, which might be true, but after a point, does it matter?
It's
the same. Like, you can be a horrible person behind closed doors, but if you're doing good things openly out in the open for points, for sure, you can have the points. Good
why
job.
Not? You're doing good. You're being, and also I think for children then get to be like, wow, I have a hero. I have these heroes I can look up to, right? These public sort of heroes. Yeah, that's great. That's good for children.
Right now, don't look up to billionaires.
No, find other heroes. Well, hopefully they don't.
Please.
I mean, they have such low prestige. But no, children seem to look up.
There are many podcasters you can look up to.
That's right. I don't have very much prestige. 0, really. I don't do any of these rituals.
No, but I
spoke at my dad's retirement.
There you go.
That's the most prestige I've ever got, and
You're on the
people liked
scoreboard.
it. I'm on the scoreboard 1 point.
On your prestige board.
Yep.
On your prestige board.
Yeah. Have you ever earned any prestige, Scott?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I like to do nice things, but I don't really go out of my way. I also feel like I'm chasing my own stuff all the time, and so there's not a lot of extra bandwidth to do other stuff. So who's
selfish now?
Me.
Yeah,
totally me.
More selfish than prestige-seeking influencer.
But I'm being honest about it. Does that give me prestige points? No, wait. There's a third scoreboard. It's the honesty scoreboard, and now I'm ahead on the honesty scoreboard.
I mean, people get we do encounter normal kind of common people who have prestige. You know, you meet someone who's a soldier, and people are like, "Thank you for your service." That's like a little bit of prestige. Or you meet someone, and you're like, "I'm a dad, right? I'm married." People are like, "Oh, boom!" That gives you people some prestige points.
Anything that can get like a little bit of this weird lopsided wealth inequality that we have in this country, and start squishing it back toward the middle. I'm in favor.
That's not what I said.
No, but
I don't think it would actually do that. I actually think this might lead to a greater inequality.
Oh, well, then I'm
and a more constant inequality. This literally could be the hardening of the upper crust.
You're trying to decide who the upper aristocracy who gets to like fly off the planet when the planet explodes and they survive in the spaceship.
No, actually, if they had really true prestige, they would give up their seat. You know what I mean? They would. You know what I mean? Like, this is the thing. What I'm talking about is a true aristocracy. That means they actually are better people. They're a high, like, not that they're better. Everyone could be this good. Everyone can be good. And, you know, I'm not saying they're better or worse categorically. I just mean that they are gaining for themselves these history points.
In your world, there's like every billionaire could be Marcus Aurelius.
Yes. That's what I mean. Yes, like a Marcus Aurelius. That's what I'm talking about. And they don't even have to be rich. I'm saying, like, Marcus Aurelius had about as much wealth as, like, you know, maybe today's like a doctor has. I mean, he
controlled an entire nation.
But he couldn't actually get anything. We, through modern capitalism, have way more wealth. Like, you and I are wealthier than the Prince of Persia.
Well, yeah, he couldn't buy the worst phone in the market because that didn't exist. But
that's what I'm saying. He
had the best of what was available in the world.
Yes, relatively. Yes, relatively. But in absolute terms, what I'm saying is it doesn't take a lot of work to get this prestige.
I don't have the power to kill anyone who annoys me.
Yeah, right. Marcus really
sentence people to death.
Could sentence people to death.
That's pretty.
You and I can't do that.
It's bigger than I got.
But we can cancel people. We can be like, unfollow.
It's true.
It's sort of the same.
It's very much the same. You know what? I am Marcus Aurelius. Never mind.
God. I'm just saying, yes, relatively he was very wealthy, but absolutely way less wealthy than anyone today. I mean, any modern employed person has more money than Marcus Aurelius, or more power economically than he did.
And we all eat better food. We eat better
food and everything.
His food probably tasted gross.
So, what I'm saying is anyone could be part of this aristocracy. There's not a huge wealth requirement, actually. Especially because it's so easy to gain prestige now. We call it influence. We call them influencers. But really, they have the opportunity to become prestige artists. Prestigists. I don't know what to call them. Well, we call them influencers. But yeah, wouldn't that be a better social media to live on? Right? If social media were populated with these amazing heroes that everyone could look up to because they were like really inspiring, that'd be a great social media to be on.
That sounds like a positive change for sure.
Yeah. I'm more concerned. You're talking about wealth. You went to this wealth side.
Yes.
I'm actually more concerned with morality.
Well, I thought you brought it in with billionaires, and I was like, oh. So
yeah,
I was thinking wealth, but
I think of it as rich people like could do this to improve their reputation.
Yeah.
But even without, but that doesn't mean they would give their money away. The king didn't walk around giving money away. I mean, he gave little presents away, but they were like nothing compared to how much wealth he had. You know, it would be like if Bill Gates was like, "Here, $1,000 for this hospital." It'd be like, what? $1,000? You know, doesn't make any. It was mostly ceremonial. But I think it would more be for morality. I mean, I think our society sort of suffers under a lack of morality.
There's definitely a wide range of what people consider acceptable or not acceptable and how much control they feel like they should have over others.
But anyways, I thought I'd bring the solution of, you know, hey, if your reputation sucks or you're looking for a cool niche online to be an influencer and nobody and you want to do something nobody really in America's ever done, try looking up how to get royal prestige. Start behaving like a minor aristocrat, and maybe in a few years you'll be like, people will be like, wow, this guy or this girl's amazing.
So what I'm hearing you say is you think that's a better strategy to have people on social media think you're cool than say
showing your
just
butt.
straight up buy a social media company and then say I own it and run
Yes,
it now, so
yes.
everyone
Yes,
I'm cool.
So
I'm
much
cool.
better and cheaper. So much better, so much cheaper.
Whoa.
Also, just people could do this who are just normal people.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to start the consulting about the movie The Prestige business.
That's good.
I'll definitely be in on that.
We could make a new movie.
Prestige 2. It's good.
More prestige for everyone.
More prestige. I like it.
All right.
I'll take some prestige.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Prestige for everyone who listens to Solutions FM.
Yes, prestige for you.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Hey there. Thanks for listening to that episode of Solutions from the Multiverse.
Yeah, we're back with a little after roll. Hello.
Hey, after roll. Roll that after roll. So basically, we want you to subscribe.
Yeah.
And rate and review and tell someone, like, take your favorite solution and send it to someone who you think would like blow their mind to hear it.
Yeah, we love making the show. We're proud of it. And we're excited. We want other people to show. We know that the main way people find podcasts is word of mouth. I know that's true for me. I listen to my friends who also listen to podcasts tell me about ones, and I go, okay, I'm cluing into that. So we want to be part of that chain.
So thanks for being a part of Solutions.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again real soon.
Bye.
Bye.